want to share with you challenges faced by women with disability in society. Amplifying their voices because we want to create inclusive society where every woman counts, every girl's life counts, whether they have disability or they don't have a disability. We all need to live together in peace. To face it, I will share with you what we found out in a research that we did. We want to find out what injustice in others because more often than not, people they focus in big cities, but we have women, girls with disability in rural areas, in a small town. How do they live in those small towns? Considering that our economic is very challenging. For instance, we look at Shisharan, we meet a lot of more disability there. It used to be a very good town with the men, but the men collapsed. So now, how do they live? We wanted to find out. To identify barriers that women with disabilities face in accessing public service on equal basis with their non-disabled counterparts, to ascertain the participatory barriers that hinder women with disabilities from full exercise of their rights, to discover the coping mechanisms that these women are practicing in their ability to cover the gap that is brought to them by discrimination, to provide recommendation as to what can be done by policymakers and the government. The research covered 8 countries: Flower, Shishawan, Rustab, Noton, Pindur, Chinwe. Attitude now, assessing to healthcare, including natal care. At a hospital, they think that if you are disabled, you cannot give birth to a child. They think you are disabled the whole body, that you cannot give birth on your own. Another is, you hear this say you are blind and you keep giving birth, giving us unnecessary work, and on top of that, we don't even have a waste of sustaining your family, discrimination from other services, blood donation, transfusion. If I go to the blood transfusion today, they will tell me that because I am disabled, I can give my blood. It doesn't necessarily mean that my blood is disabled. Sometimes I just want to be part of society, contribute to its development. Assisting to healthcare, assisting medical treatment or the not functioning, services are not hindered despite having a letter from social welfare. Communication barriers for deaf people, scan is accessible for them. For example, this one, you can see she is with, then you are given a very small bed, sometimes which is very high. She can climb on that board, but the doctor is supposed to scan on him. So how are they going to do it? We need accessible health centers where deaf people can simply walk in, find an interpreter there. But for now, we don't have that service. You go to any hospital, even here in Ireland, you go there, they will tell you, no interpret or pay your own interpret. But this is a service that I should get for free, not for me to pay the hospital. On top of that, I have to pay the interpret. We want to access the same service as everyone else. Discrimination from family and marriage, in the community, in the church, employment and working conditions, vendors, cash but not employment opportunities. Those who survive on begging. Someone once told me with disabled people, they beg in town because they enjoy begging. But I don't think anyone will enjoy begging. They beg in town because they do not have a choice. Suppose you go to university, you can beg. You are going to compete in the job market with those who don't have disability. And many employers will tell you that employing disabled people is expensive than employing non-disabled people. So where does that leave us? To vent in town. But venting in town now, how many of us are venting there? If you are venting in town, let's suppose you are deaf, then there are youth. You are in the wrong place at the wrong time. You get caught in the fire. That now we have cyclone it happening. We have victims with disability. What are we doing for those victims to ensure that they also access service? Maybe you need a wheelchair, but your wheelchair was not sit in the floor. You can't move. So they say there is age. Maybe you don't even know there is age, but maybe you know. But how accessible are those places that are offering the service, the aid? Our men are meant for disabled people. The people who are giving the aid, are they trained to be disability friendly? The answer is no. Then someone will say, you beg in town because you enjoy it. We don't enjoy to beg in town because sometimes maybe you have $10, you buy your ways. Actually, take those ways. They don't return it simple because you are disabled. You know, I am sure if disabled are given their store to say, sell here, they will keep those places clean. And they will be responsible. They will pay whatever fee they are supposed to pay. We are not asking for charity. No, I wouldn't want someone say, Agnes, I am giving you $10 because you are deaf. No, I want to be empowered for me to be able to take care of myself because giving me charity is not empowering. What happens if I eat that $10? Tomorrow I come back for more. We don't want that. We want to be empowered and take our rightful place in society. We want to be able to develop our society. But if you don't give us a chance, we are not going to be able to do that. Rent house, accessible rent house. We look at my mother's children with disabilities. How many of them are turning away from homes dead because they can't afford to pay their rent house? Sometimes it's here home when we have disability, it's very difficult because people will say, we don't accommodate people with disability. How are you going to pay rent? Access to education, no investment towards education, problem with integration. I will talk about inclusive education. It is a noble idea, yes, but for other sections of disabled people, it is not a very noble idea. If our teachers are not equipped with the skills to integrate inclusive education with special education, I will give you an example for deaf learners. Most of them, they come from rural areas. They can't afford special school, so say they should go to the school nearest to their homes. How many of those schools, if a teacher who can send, you know, if I am physically in a classroom, but I can't understand what is going on there, that is not inclusion, because I am in there, but academically, I am not learning anything. We have an 18-year-old girl we found in the rural area near Merengade. She went to school grade 1 to 7. But we look at her today. She can't write 3+2. What happened? 7 years going to school. But she can't write 3+2. Why? Because the teachers, they really didn't teach her. They simply say, you are in school, play with the other children. She just go to school, play. She can't write even one simple sentence. The only thing that she can write is her name. My name is Ruth. Finish. She can't add anything to that. Suppose we have thousands of children like that. What are we doing at this inclusive education thing? We look at our curriculum. We have new curriculum. How accessible is that curriculum to children with disabilities? Let alone to deaf children. Because my understanding is they are developing a syllabus, but this syllabus in sign language, it only covers up to grade 2. So suppose you go to school to grade 2, then what happens later on? We sit down to school at grade 2, because that is what our nation is telling us. We have easy this syllabus for sign language, but it goes up to grade 2. Then we want to be able to catch up with others, because I am 7, I am in grade 2, next year I am supposed to be in grade 3, but there is no syllabus for me in language that I can understand. Think about it, these children. What are we doing about their future? We are simply killing them before they even get there. It's better if they are girl children, because there is double discrimination. Face it, because of their disability, then because of their gender, how then are they going to fit in the society? Especially in the women's movement, you know, when people see me usually, they don't see me the woman, they see me as the deaf. But I would want people to see me as a woman species before they give me this label of saying, Agnes the deaf. Yes, I am deaf, but my disability should not define me. Let us see the person first before we see their disability. By seeing my disability first, you are limiting me. You know, like me, I really don't know where I stand. You know, sometimes I feel I should be in the disability movement, but remember we have men in there. These men, they also want power in that movement. So I will be thinking I should join the women's movement, but the women's movement will tell me, Agnes, but you have a disability, you should go to the disability movement. The man in the disability movement will tell me I should go to the women. So I am on a catch-22 situation. Where should I belong? For myself, I feel I should be able to accept both the movement. We need to mainstream disability issues in the women's movement. For us to come out with gender equality that considers disability as one of its aspects. A mother's perception, transport courses, medication and health, accommodation, education, employment, Department of Social Welfare, do they still believe social welfare can help us? Do they still running PIM there? I can see a lot of schools there because you are told you are under PIM. Then PIM doesn't actually pay. Maybe it will pay next year. But what you are paying for the expenses of this year? If last year you owe it 400, now that 400 will be paid in bond. How much is she going to pay? With the best element, we are abusing the other parents because some other parents will have to pay for this. When the school collapses, we will blame school administrators. Say they stole the man, but which man are we talking about when our BIM is not working? A summer of cost of raising a child with disabilities, including transport. I noticed it when we were in Shalan that there was some mother with some 14-year-old children who have multiple disabilities. The mothers were saying these children have never been to school because when they feel that leaving their children in school, how will the teachers look after them? Maybe the child will spend the whole day in 1 p.m. simply because the teachers, they don't want to look after this child. So the mothers, they feel it is better to keep these children at home. But what happens when these mothers die? We add another burden to society simply because at the moment we are not being proactive. You know, it is not just my problem, but it is everyone's problem. What affects me actually affects you, because in society we all have to look after each other. You know, if I have to depend on the government, we are all going to pay taxes for my benefit. Then suppose we are 1 million of us who are depending on the government. What do you are paying then? 1 million people wanting taxes from the few people that we have paying that taxes and burden to everyone. I actually wish if the clerk of parliament was listening to this or is simply going to read something about this in the press. You know, last year we went to parliament. We were asking them, please domesticate the CRPT. We have a petition signed by over 1,000 people. But then our parliament is not accessible. The people manning the front desk, they are very good. They will tell you can't see the clerk. Then how are they going to get our recommendation? If you can't even see them, why can't they have an open door policy where everyone is supposed to come in, give their ideas? Sometimes what you know and what I know, we combine that together. We create something very strong because no one knows it all, whether educated or not. Someone has something important to say, especially when my lived experience. Suppose I face the problem, I also know how to solve these problems. Now I will leave you to message it.
As she was talking, I was just listening and to see the challenges which we are facing as women with disabilities. Women with disabilities are facing a lot of challenges. You look in the rural areas, how does that woman go and fetch water? How does she fetch water? How does she fetch firewood? This can only be something to be looked into. When people are doing projects in rural areas, they should also put in mind that there are women with disabilities who have to access these services. So those things should be put with removing the barriers which will block women with a disability to access those things. Especially, let's say, a bowl which is user-friendly, where there is electricity and I can just get the water on the tap. firewood, energy, which I could just use while this time at home without looking at fetching firewood. Those are the issues. But all these things, as we are talking about all the challenges, I think they can all be compassed when we have something which is tangible, which we can ask the government to be responsible, like a policy. As we speak, we don't have any policy. So we need a policy as people with a disability, so that we will hold the government accountable to say, this is our policy, but you are not following it. Are you implementing what you have said in the policy? But now, as we don't have a policy, how then can we hold the government accountable? We have the UNCRPD, the Convention on the Right of Persons with Disability. It was signed, ratified, but Zimbabwe doesn't take that as a law when it is not domesticated. It needs to be domesticated so that these issues, challenges which we are talking about, we can hold people accountable on that. To say, you did this, this is a law, but you are not abiding to what you agreed to. The Act, yes, we have an Act, 92, the Disability Act, 92 Disability Act. That Act, it has got its own gaps. We are looking forward that if the policy, which we are looking forward that we are going to have, and the Constitution, all these things to be in harmony with the Convention on the Right of Persons with Disability. This will give us our rights as people with disability in Zimbabwe. And we can also stand to say, okay, now we have the documents which really abide, which really shows us that we are also humans in Zimbabwe, humans with rights. Human rights are just disability rights. Disability rights are human rights. So if we have the rights and we have the documents, the laws, which really protect us as people with disabilities, we can have the voice to say, yes, now we're having the voice to talk each and every day, but people, they don't listen to us. Why? At certain times, people, they don't really understand what disability is all about. But if they have a policy, if they really understand the UNCRPD, if they really understand the Act, and they look into the Constitution, I think all these things can make people understand what disability is all about. We look at the issues of women. When women raise to say we want equality, we want our rights as women, they got them because they are now documents. We have now our gender policy, which clarifies really all the rights of women with disability, of women. We have the Constitution, which really articulates rights for women. And then now, even the corporate world has adapted all that as Zimbabweans. They are now following all those documents, and they've got in their policies, they've got that component of gender in each and every policy in Zimbabwe. So if we have a policy and we have the Act which speaks to each other with our Constitution and the UNCRPD in our Constitution, and everything speaks to each other, I think people will start to understand disability. But for now, you can see the challenges which we have. If I go to the hospital just for civic cancer, you find the bed is too narrow. I can't. And the nurses will tell you, we can't lift you. So which means I cannot be screened for cancer, which is a killer disease. So that's violating my own rights as a human being. If I go there as a deaf woman to be screened for cancer, And then I need someone, the third person, to interpret my privacy. It's violated. I need to have a dignity as a person. If the laws are not followed, or if people are not recognizing our rights as women with a disability, which means our dignity as women with a disability, yeah, it's compromised. Because I'm also a person who has a one's dignity. I have my own privacy as a person. So I need someone one-on-one with my nurse, one-on-one with my doctor, to say what is it which I want to communicate to my doctor. But if there is a third person, which means there is no privacy. Even though, if you are told to say, okay, you have to pay in your own interpreter, which means me, the service which I am supposed to get for free, I have to pay. Maybe that service I was paying again, then I have to pay another fee again, which means to me it will be very expensive. How many people will afford that? How many? As we look at women with disability and girls with disability, we are the poor of the poorest. Why? One, the majority of us are not educated. We are not employed. So how can we then afford all these fees? If I go to the hospital, I need someone to accompany me, which means I have to pay for 2 people. And for now, even my own wheelchair, I have to pay for it, which means there are 3 people. How then do I get that money? When we say we are the poor of the poorest, which means at certain times we don't even access our health just because of the expenses which we will encounter. Whereas other people are just paying $5 consultation fee. And they had to walk to that hospital. But for me, I had to use a transport and pay for 3 people, me, my wheelchair, and the assistant. If a deaf person will have to yourself and the interpreter. So all those things, the government should look into them to say, okay, they should also ease for us to really know that we have got a right as women with a disability in Zimbabwe. We have got a right to access education, we have got a right to access health, we have got a right to also have accommodation, to own our own houses. We have got a right also to be employed. We have got a right also to have the land to till, because my disability cannot deny me to till the land. I also want to be a farmer. I also want to work with the vision in 2030, middle class by 2030. So how, if Zimbabwe is a signatory to the Sustainable Development Goals, to say leaving no one behind in each of the 17 goals. So where are we as women and girls with disabilities? Which means if we are left behind by 2030, the vision of the country will not be achieved, because there will be a cycle of poverty. I will be poor, I will not be able to pay my the school fees for my own kid, and my own kid will also have their own kid who will, because of the lack of not going to school, those grandkids will not go to school, which means it will be a cycle of poverty which will be created, and then the country will not be able to achieve the middle class by 2030.